hocam. We shall now have the opportunity for silence prayer or meditation. Thank you very much. You may all be seated. Honorable members, good morning. And welcome to our... You can raise a hand. It's hot. I'm trying to check from members of the staff, those who are responsible for the... I'm not sure. To assist. Ngobeni, you're right. Okay. I'm told Mr. Ngobeni is making sure they attend to that. Thank you very much, Honorable Smiley. Sometimes it's difficult, honorable members, because yes, it is our chamber, but all this maintenance and whatever is not our responsibility. We are relying to the department, but we'll fix that. Thank you very much. May we proceed to item 2. Are there any motions without notice in terms of House Rule 145? Honorable Appeal.
Yeah, thanks very much, Honorable Speaker. And a very good morning to you and the House at large. I'm standing here on behalf of the African National Congress to table a motion without notice on the outstanding service as rendered by the Department of Health. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress takes this opportunity to applaud the relentless efforts to bring about by efficient and quality healthcare services to the people of Limpopo made by the Department of Health under the custodianship of Dr. Bukirabatu. On Monday, Madam Speaker, the 13th of March 2023, the MEC for Health presided over the commissioning of 28 new ambulances to augment an existing field in an effort to improve response to healthcare emergencies and save lives. The department has procured a total of 66 ambulances which will be commissioned before the end of this financial year. The handing over will cover all districts of the province with specific focus on areas experiencing severe shortages. The people of Bloemberg, where the first batch was commissioned on Monday, deserve responsive, quality and comprehensive healthcare services. We thank the department for this timely intervention in building a better Limpopo. The African National Congress urged sister departments to play their part in ensuring longevity of the vehicles through the rehabilitation of the road infrastructure. In the same breath, Madam Speaker, we call upon communities to desist from vandalizing ambulances and other public assets during service delivery protests. We are confident that this is the starting point in the delivery and commissioning of ambulances in rural and far-flung areas. The department must invest in a sophisticated tracking system to ensure optimum use of the ambulances and avoid the use of ambulances for personal errands. The African National Congress commends the commitment made by the MEC to procure more ambulances to meet the emergency health needs of the people of Limpopo. I so move.
Thanks, Honorable Apiri. Any seconder? Honorable Matau. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
I also support to hear by second the move as president of the people. I don't want to take people's jobs.
Thanks very much. Any motions without notice? Honorable, my apology, Honorable Member. If I can get the same name again. Bela-Bela. Honorable Bela-Bela.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to the EFF caucus led by Honorable Maranga in absentia, MAC presence, honorable members, staff and members on the gallery. I rise on behalf of the EFF to move on the motion without notice that the House notes the bullying, divide and conquer of local communities by Ivan Plus mine in Mukopani because of its financial muscles and racism against black people. The mine continues to harass and bully our people as they seek to expand their mining operations by forcefully removing our people from their land. The companies have the guts to bully our people because ANC big shots, their wives, and other family members have shares in those mines. The mining companies do as they wish because they know that they have political protection, essentially meaning that the ANC has given mining companies the license to bully, abuse, and harass our people on their land. The EFF will not allow colonization and apartheid-style forced removals by these foreign companies on our people. Ivan Plus Mine, which is a subsidiary of a Canadian miner, Ivanhoe Mines, continue to divide families by giving some families members huge sums of money to agree on the sale of land, while the majority of family members do not agree to sell their land. The EFF government will expropriate land without compensation for equal redistribution of land to eliminate these forms of bullying by white foreigners. Those of you in this house who have shares in those mines, tell them that soon we will be forced to pay them a special visit if they continue harassing our people. I so move.
Any second? Honorable Passion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I, Sale of Hasele, stand to second the motion as presented by Honorable Bela-Bela. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mookgopong.
Madam Speaker, I, Malcolm Grace Mookgopong, stand to object the motion because there are a lot of wild allegations which cannot stand until they are proven. So therefore, that motion should be rejected with the seriousness it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The motion presented by Honorable Bela-Bela is objected, meaning the motion falls off. Can you proceed? Can you proceed? Are there any motions without notice in terms of House Rule 145? Honorable Pala?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on behalf of the DA to move that this House resolve that on the 5th July 2022, this House resolved that crime gender-based violence was spiraling out of control and that the Provincial Police Commissioner was not in control of the situation. Further notes that since then our communities have become increasingly unsafe. Robberies at residential premises, carjacking and contact crimes showed a year-on increase of 30.2%, 5% and 16.3% respectively. Notes with sadness that in the third quarter of the 2022-2023 reported cases of rape disturbingly showed a year-on increase of 20%. Also note that Toyando remains the rape capital of the province, ranked 4th nationally and 1st provincially, and showed an increase of 20.7% in reported rapes during the third quarter. Despite all the telltale signs in the crime statistics over the last 2 years, lack of leadership and underfunding persist. The House to note further that if gender-based violence and contact crime remain ungoverned, our province will suffer long-term socio-economic consequences. Honorable Speaker, I move for this House to resolve that an ad hoc committee be established in terms of Rule 79, subsection 1A, with powers in terms of Rule 79, subsection 3 to 10, that tied against the scourge of gender-based violence by setting clear multidisciplinary targets and holding departments accountable for their failure to protect the most vulnerable in our society. This august House can no longer stand by while our women and children are raped and butchered. I so move.
Any second? Honorable Maharaj.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I, Richard Maharaj, hereby stand to second the motion as read by Honorable Parliament.
Thank you very much. Any motions without notice? Honorable Selwyn.
Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress welcomes the sentencing of a serial rapist and murderer, Themba Dube. Dube, the 36-year-old convicted serial rapist, has been sentenced to 8 life sentences. The Zimbabwe national was convicted on 2 counts of rape, 6 counts of murder, 5 counts of robbery with aggravating circumstances, 1 count of extortion, 1 count of theft, 1 count of possession of stolen property, and 1 count of being an illegal immigrant. Honorable Speaker, this monster, some of his victims include Andre Cholo, Mposinyatsi, Ivan Makura, Jane Lezwalo, Chisani Sogumbo, Sarah Mutiba, and Mamu Rakoma, who are both deceased. May their souls continue to rest in peace, and we hope their families will find solace in knowing that this perpetrator will be behind bars indefinitely. As the African National Congress, we further like to extend our words of appreciation and gratitude to the Department of Transport and Community Safety under the stewardship of MEC Razilani with their continuous imbizo on gender-based violence. We hope their program will reach all our municipalities across the province and engage all stakeholders, as this will intensify the gender-based violence awareness, and jointly we will find solutions to this scourge as we continue to build better communities. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Someone to the motion? Honorable
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Stand to support the motion as it is read.
Thank you very much. Any motions without notice? Honorable Pala?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise for this House to note that the DA has laid charges at the environmental management inspectors, being the Green Scorpion against Capricorn District and the Bela-Bela municipalities. The charges were laid due to the municipality's violation of Section 107 of National Environmental Management Act and Section 24 of the Constitution for the neglected sewer system, which continues to pollute the environment around the Bela-Bela municipality. During an oversight visit conducted by the DA last week, we found 3 leaks that pollute the environment and pose health risks to the residents. Raw sewage spillage in Ward 15 next to a business area in a popular spot for residents to gather. It is a health risk to the residents of Ward 15 and to the people who utilize the center for leisure and entertainment. In Ward 4, sewage spillage runs along the road which passes in front of the Bela-Bela hospital. It flows into open area in the village of Mahata, where it poses a health risk to residents and their livestock. There is a dilapidated structure which seems as if it was intended as a sewage plant, but it is incomplete and left open. The Lower Home sewage plant project commenced years ago but remains incomplete. Raw sewage flows into an open space in the village of Mapuring where livestock graze and drink from the stream. The DA will not allow further compromise of service delivery to the residents of the Bela-Bela municipality by the unconstitutional behavior of the deployment of ANC cadres. Thank you.
Any second? Honorable Smith?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any motions without notice? Any notices of motion in terms of House Rule 146? Any statement by members in terms of Rule 200? Honorable Pahlela?
Honorable Speaker, greetings to the caucus led by of the opposition party led by Honorable Maraga in absentia. Greetings to the Honorable MECs present. Members of this August House, members in the gallery, good morning. The economic freedom fighter in Limpopo is not surprised that the Bela-Bela municipality has disconnected electricity supply to defaulting Limpopo government department, owing the municipality more than 250 million. The consequential disconnection of electricity to this department is a solid evidence of the ANC dismantled failure to run effective and good governance. Their failure to pay electricity bill is for more questionable because this department receives plentiful amount of money to keep the lights on. It is of great concern that the impact of non-payment of electricity bill by the department will mostly affect the delivery of services to our people. Municipalities and departments under the ANC-led government are collapsing and worse paying consumers as a result of funds being misused or stolen. The EFF called on the affected department to come up with a contingency measures while making financial means to settle their debt so as to avoid the halting of day-to-day operation. We cannot sympathize with irresponsible and corrupt ANC government departments. They are reaping what they do not sow. Unfortunately, the people of Limpopo in particular, the poor, are the ones who will bear the brunt of the incompetent government, while cannot even service its own debt. The EFF demands accountability and consequence management from the affected department in question. We call upon the MEC and the Premier to investigate this matter and present a full report to this House on what actually transpired. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Sman.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Members of the Executive, members and people in the gallery and HUDs. Honourable Members, South Africa leads the global fraternity of wildlife ranching and generates more than 7.7 billion rand in income every year. South Africa has more than 10,000 commercial wildlife ranches, occupying 16.8% of the country's land. Half are located in Limpopo, a further 20% in the Northern Cape and 12% in the Eastern Cape. Limpopo government oversees 43 protected areas, also known as game reserves, all of which are in dire condition. The government is fortunate to have some of the best genetic rare game animals, which should be monitored not only from a scientific research point of view, but also from an investment choice to attract the wildlife breeding fertility. Progressive wildlife ranching requires that rare game breeding be monitored, being kept in well-maintained fences that will minimize the spread of disease or poaching. Sandbox recently reported a total revenue of 815 million rand and is estimated to earn 1 billion rand in the next year. Honourable MEC, why is it that the department failed to do game counting for the last 3 years? What are the reasons for the cancellations of the helicopter tender that would have assisted the parks to do game counting? When was the last time the DET managed to produce the status of rare breed animals? Is it a fact that our rare breeding animals have been reduced over the last 5 years? Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Sman. Any member statement, Honourable Shoga?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Greetings to the EFF caucus led by the capable Honourable Maraga in absentia, our MEC presence here, members of this House, our visitors at the gallery, our staff, and the visiting HODs. Honourable Speaker, the EFF notes with concern the state of tractors in the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. The Limpopo Department of Agriculture and Rural Development bought 72 tractors as an input injection for Limpopo Farmers Mechanization Support Program, meant specifically for emerging and subsistence farmers in the province. These tractors were distributed among 5 districts. The Limpopo Farmer Mechanization Support Program was initiated on the basis that mechanization cost is in agricultural activity take the lion's share of the total cost of production, which is a burden to many emerging and subsistence farmers. Honourable Speaker, a young promising female farmer from Bela-Bela farming project in Muribing under Modimolle Municipality is currently struggling to service her contract with both McCain and Pepperdew International to supply potato and Pepperdew respectively. This happened because of high cost of mechanization. The big question is why the department is failing to dispose these tractors to young farmers who have got the capacity to optimally utilize these tractors, fixing them and continue assisting the neighboring farmers. The answer is we are led by non-thinkers who are obsessed with looting the public purse through tendering processes. Honorable Speaker, during the oversight conducted by the EFF on the 20th of February 2023 at the Agricultural Office, Modimolle Municipality and Capricorn District, we discovered that there are 3 tractors in the office that were not in good state and left unattended by officials. It was reported that the office does not have drivers and only depend on EPWP recruited drivers during the rainy season, meaning that they were not assisting farmers in the past 6 months. In addition, the EFF discovered that all municipalities in the province have similar problems regarding mechanization because all tractors are broken and there is no service plan. Honorable Speaker, it is a typical of ANC-led government to engage in fruitless and wasteful expenditure and nothing happens to the official responsible because consequence management does not exist in the Freeman-Matawata's administration. We ask ourselves, what kind of nonsense is this that government spend millions of rands on purchasing tractors to assist our people, only to be used to decorate agricultural office while our farmers are burdened by high cost of mechanization. Honorable Speaker, the
Honorable Mookgopong.
Honorable Speaker, I want to know if the word nonsense is parliamentary.
Honorable Sir, may we please withdraw the word nonsense?
No, I can't withdraw nonsense. Nonsense is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. I can't draw that. It's definitely, there's nothing wrong, there's no insult in that.
But nonsense is
Nonsense.
unparliamentary.
No way. No way. No way.
Honorable members, let's allow the honorable member to proceed and then I will go back and check if ever the word indeed nonsense is unparliamentary.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I'll come up with the response.
What kind of nonsense is this that the government spends millions of rands on purchasing tractors to assist our people, only to be used to decorate the office while our farmers are burdened by high cost of mechanization? Honorable Speaker, the EFF would like the MEC of Agriculture and Rural Development to finish this house with a detailed report on the total cost of the tractors, the current status of all the tractors, number of drivers, all farmers who benefited from mechanization in the last 6 months, and the detailed plan on the disposal of the tractors that are not optimally utilized by the department. Only the ANC-led government can purchase tractors without drivers and expect that manna from heaven will fall and drive these tractors. The EFF solutions to this challenge reside in Cardinal Pillar number 3 that talks to building state and government capacity, which will lead to abolishment of the tenders. This is emphasized because the task of a fundamental economic transformation require a strong state with ability to develop a clear strategic vision and be able to implement and monitor the progress made. I thank you.
Any statement by members? May I check from the members of executive if they want to respond to the member statement? Honorable MEC Makam.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to members, MECs, our Chief Whip, and all members present here. Honorable Speaker, I want to respond on the statement by a member with regard to the cutting of electricity by Bulgaria Municipality to sector departments. But even before I provide answers, I want the House to clear it that non-payment of services is not near anywhere with corruption. So there is no corruption if payments by sector department to the municipality has not taken place. But I must indicate that as the corporate governance will call upon in the province, as CoGHSTA we have established a debt forum where all sector departments and parastatals engage each other in the payment of services, be it a local municipality, be it a sector department, be it a parastatal. Sometimes I come to this house, I update the house about paying for ESCOM by local municipalities. So even on this matter, the matter is receiving serious attention where misunderstandings were there between the local municipality and the sector departments. And we can assure you that that forum is effective, it's working. There is serious reduction of debts within sector departments to local municipalities because it is our custodian to make sure that municipalities get their revenue. There is a credit control policy of these municipalities which is working very well, that will cut across everybody else, and we should commend municipalities for doing the work that they should do. Then the other matter I would want to also respond on behalf of the MEC for the debt, Honorable Smale, is about the counting and the tender that was there meant for the counting of animals so that we can be able to know the population of animals so that this sector is also generating serious revenue for this province and we should be able to take it seriously. So I will take the matter to my colleague MEC for the debt, MEC Munama, to look at what is it that will be done to make sure that we revive and continue. I think his absence here, I have seen him yesterday, if you saw on social media, he was visiting a white rhino all in Woodspring, making sure that we revive the issue of wildlife tourism in the province. So I think the matter will be receiving attention. Thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Thanks, Honorable MEC Mukulu.
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues in the executive, members of the House, the chief group of the majority party, members in the gallery. For those people who know my history in public service will know that I'm the champion of the expanded public works program. I'm one of those people who wrote some of those manuals. So to say that we are not thinking, we will not worry much because we also know about it. Madam Speaker, indeed this government, as a caring government, has purchased tractors that are all over the province in all the regions. Some of them, indeed, they are having problems. When I arrived at the department, there was a tender or an advert calling upon people who are driving the tractors, which is an annual thing. I immediately indicated to the department that there's no need for us to issue out a tender every year. We need to issue a tender once for 3 years to make sure that when time for plowing comes, we don't have to wait. So, and we said to the department, what we need to do is that these people don't have to be drivers of tractors only. We must also give them skills, other skills that when they are not doing, when they are not plowing in that plowing session, they must be able to get jobs in other sectors of the economy. So we are sure of what we're going to do, and we are resolute that we'll be able to improve on that line, and we'll make sure that those tractors that need services are serviced to make sure that our people get the service. It is not about any other thing. You can see people are speaking from both mouths, they don't know what to do. The other one says, why do you cancel a tender? The other one says, don't have a tender. But we are going to do what our policy says. Thank you very much.
It don't make sense, I'm telling you.
Thanks, Honorable MEC.
It don't make sense.
Let's move to item 5. Any executive statement? None. Item 6. Under the tabling of committee reports and other reports, what I can say is that we have published ATC dated 15 March 2023, which outlines reports to be debated in the House today, including a revised list of committees for members' information. Thanks very much. Let's proceed to item 7, orders of the day. Consideration and adoption of the following reports of the Portfolio Committee on CoGHSTA Committee Chair.
Thank you very much. Blessed morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs. I hereby move that the 2021-2022 annual report of the department be duly adopted as a report of this distinguished House. I move accordingly.
Thanks. Any seconder? Honorable Bushen. Thanks very much. We shall now refer to the speakers list for the debate. The first speaker is Honorable Maseko.
Chairs, the Honorable Chief Whip of the Legislature and the Majority Party, Leader of Opposition also in absentia, members of the Provincial Legislature, honorable guests. It is an honor to be afforded an opportunity to give an input with regard to the annual report for CoGHSTA 2021-2022 financial year. Speaker, as a portfolio committee, we would like to commend the Department of CoGHSTA for consistently receiving an unqualified audit opinion. However, we are also worried about the stagnation of the outcome of the AG. The department has been the candidate for clean audit for 4 consecutive years. on addressing the cumulative on irregular expenditure and partner that with consequence management, because it's very critical for us to reduce irregular expenditure. It's when there's an action or disciplinary action taken for individuals who have been pointed to have caused the irregular expenditure, because to us, irregular expenditure is a deliberate non-compliance of financial regulations, particularly those that regulate supply chain management. We are also saying they must deal with fruitless and wasteful expenditure and ensure that reliable reports are always available during the time of audit. That will assist the department to move from unqualified to the next level. The department must also work hard, particularly within the office of the CFO, because our observation points to the office as the one that affects the movement towards the clean audit. There should be rigorous training and consultation with Treasury, engagement with Auditor General of South Africa on how to deal with material misstatement. We are raising this, Chairperson, because as a portfolio committee, we are happy about certain progress that have been made in that department. And ours is to advise them to make sure that they do certain things correctly and ensure that we move to the upper level. The committee was seriously concerned about the underspending by the department at the end of the financial year. The department was allocated 2.3 billion for the financial year 2021-2022, an increase as opposed to the 2020-2021 by 7%. What was concerning was that the department had underspent its budget by 474 million, which is 20% of the total budget, 20.07. And to us, we are not happy. And I think even the leadership of the portfolio committee were engaged about this matter, and we agreed that we have to do something. We must intervene as a matter of urgency. It is also really concerning that the money meant to deliver services to the people had returned back to Treasury. And that in itself tells you that we can't take that lightly as a portfolio committee, whose responsibility is to ensure that commitments that have been made by the department through its budget, APPs, and its target are realized. And such type of commitments must then do a meaningful intervention to the masses of our people. We are not going to allow continuous underspending, because to us it's a criminal offense. To us, we are depriving the people their right to get services that in terms of the Bill of Rights qualify to get. So it's a matter that we are making a call to the leadership of the department to seriously take into consideration. There was also a long outstanding matter during the same financial year about an enormous payment made by the Skopje District Municipality, where 5.something million was erroneously or deliberately transferred, and we noted that there is a forensic audit. Maybe we'll have to make a call to the leadership of CoGHSTA to follow up this matter in terms of consequence management that has been effected with relation to the issue in question, and bring back the report to us. The committee received a report by the department that there was also a total of 24.4 million of irregular expenditure in 2021-2022, just for that financial year. If you check it, it has decreased as opposed to the other previous financial year. But there is, because in 2020-2021 it was 403, now here is about 24.4. It tells you that as and when we proceed, there are attempts to reduce irregular expenditure, and we want to commend the department for that. The
cumulative irregular expenditure as on the 1st March 2022 stood at 3.3 billion. It's cumulative. We also noted that the department applied for condonement to the provincial treasury of 2.9 billion, which was approved. And we have agreed that that's what we need to do as a department when we have got cumulative irregular expenditure. Make sure that you do everything possible to convince the treasurer, because if you don't do that, that cumulative irregular expenditure will remain in your audit books, and you will not get that from the stagnation where you are as you are speaking. Fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 6.5 million was incurred, and the disclosed cumulative fruitless and wasteful expenditure amounted to 109 million, and the bulk of this is also cumulative from the 108 million incurred during the acquisition of land in Dubai. So it tells you that as long as we don't deal with this matter accordingly, it will remain in the books of the Auditor General. So it's important that there should be consequence management. The AG needs to be briefed what is it that we have done about this matter. Because if we don't deal with it, it will remain, and it don't take us to the next level as we are expecting as a portfolio. The investigation of the land acquisition demarcated by the Director of Priority Crime Investigation was reportedly ongoing. The department must report to the House about progress on the implementation of the recommendation of that investigation. That's our interest, and we acknowledge that it has been investigated. There is a report on the table with recommendation. Critical is what is it that we are doing to ensure that that report finds expression on the ground, and we keep you updated. There are long outstanding issues that should be attended to by the department. And as a portfolio committee, when we play our oversight, wishing for the department with a hope that it is a potential candidate to get this clean audit, we have identified critical issues that we think, if well implemented, they will get out of that. Number one, implementation of recommendation from the SIU reports, implementation of recommendations of all the investigations that are there, ensure implementation of effective consequence management, which is one weakness that we've identified. Our consequence management way to Indabahima written warning. In fact, it's across all the departments. Written warnings, and we can't afford that. Because we want an action to be taken, and that action must fit the offense that a person has done. And I think we will then be happy once these things are happening. You must also implement the SCOPA and Portfolio Committee resolutions. It's like when we take decisions, they don't find expression at the level of implementation. And we are saying if we can do all these things and ensure that we avoid this unnecessary irregular expenditure, we are saying that above matters will be standing agenda items for the Portfolio Committee to ensure that there is effective and efficient oversight and monitoring by the Portfolio Committee. We will always, during our Portfolio Committee meeting with the department, then also get progress with regard to the issues that we have raised. And that's how we can take the department out of stagnation. We call upon the leadership of the department to maximize capacity in the finance unit and ensure compliance with financial regulations. The committee will intensify its oversight role in ensuring that irregularities are mitigated and good financial governance is exercised. The department must continue to brief the House on the progress of all the recommendations that have been done pertaining to its daily work. Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thanks, Honorable Maseko. The next speaker, Honorable Mapogu.
Absentia, Chief Whip, Dr. Bela-Bela, and my colleagues and the House. Honorable Speaker, it is regrettable and despicable that the department could not spend all its budget of 1.29 billion for the 2020-21 financial year for human settlement program. They only spent 913 million, of which 91.4% of the total budget for the program's allocation. This is shameful and disappointing because it is difficult for us to understand why the department failed to spend all the money on such an important program. Our people do not have roof over their head. They need houses to restore their dignity and its constitutional mandate, and of the department to build houses for the poor. Furthermore, we are not even told what the remaining money was used for, because our people must be taken into confidence that the money was used for good cause, for the benefit of the poor. Maybe to be specific, we need to ask a question: why was the 88.792 million not spent on building houses for the poor? This money not spent could have built about 458 houses for our people, therefore restoring their dignity. People of the province need houses, and yet the money is being underspent by the heartless ANC government. Honorable Speaker, this is the reason why majority of conditional grants are returned back and spent almost every year, and yet there's no consequence management applied to responsible officials. As the Honorable Maseko said, only issuing out love letters to them. When you return back the money, you are simply saying all the 60 million population of Limpopo has houses, electricity, water, and all, of which is wrong. Honorable Speaker, the fact that the department is still experiencing challenges with regard to community residential units and social housing units, as well as enhanced people's housing process, clearly tells us that government does not have capacity to provide solutions to societal challenges. The House should know that there were 52 planned projects for human settlement to be approved during the period under review, and only 5 were achieved. When you carelessly postpone the construction of houses for the people, you are postponing creation of jobs, you are promoting hunger and poverty. This is extremely disappointing and disturbing, to say the least. Surely, we cannot expect this from the government of the people, by the people, for the people, as you are claiming to be. Honorable Speaker, we are dwelling more on the aspect of housing because it is an important matter for the poor. Decent housing restores the dignity of our people. No non-submission of monthly data for EPWP requirements by contractors is seriously concerning. Any contractor who does not comply with the contractual obligation must be kicked out to serve an example to others not to do it again. Their contract must be terminated. They are allowed to do so as they wish because they do not understand the importance of job creation and hunger alleviation. They get away with the matter because some officials and politicians are shareholders in these companies. Honorable Speaker, the EFF has noted with regret that an expenditure of 15.2 million under cooperative programs. This House should note that the current government is synonymous with under expenditure. You cannot mention under expenditure and not mention the ANC government. The MIT allocation to 25 municipalities in the province amounted to 2,952,699 billion in the 2020-21 financial year, and 2,933,281, meaning 65.47% was spent at the end of March 2021. Honorable Speaker, the municipal infrastructure grant, it is a critical infrastructure development in the province, and we are saying that more can be done on the expenditure of this grant. Department reported a total of 403.8 million of irregular expenditure for 2020-21 and 21st financial year. This money should have been used to deliver service to our people, to positively impact on their general well-being and their standard of living. Indeed, we are living in times of hopelessness. No amount of counseling can save the poor falling ANC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Honorable Smiley.
Before that, Honorable Speaker, maybe we must also put a moratorium. I don't know what there is special rules for Honorable Mukoni, because in the last sitting you made mention that no one is allowed to bring any kind of. So, and this night it has been happening. I'm worried because please protect me. Protect me. No.
Yes, can you finish?
Yes, before I finish, I'm just saying, can you ask Honorable Mukoni to go and eat? But it has been long that he's been eating this man. Ever since this man has been eating and eating. And now he even brought the cardiac inside the house. Can you please ask him to go and put the cardiac?
Honorable Shogo. Yes, you are correct. Honorable Shogo, you are correct. Ne? But unfortunately, the Honorable was not in the house on that day. I was still going to remind or maybe to indicate to him. No. Proceed, Honorable Smith.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, members of the Executive, Honorable MEC of CoGHSTA, Honorable members. The mandate of the Department of CoGHSTA's mandate is primarily derived from chapters 3, 5, 6, 7 and 9 of the Constitution. In short, the department is responsible for intergovernmental relations, provincial interventions in local government when municipalities are unable to fulfill their executive obligation, relevant when a municipality, as a result of their financial crisis, breaches its obligations to provide basic services to meet its financial requirements. By legislation, must support and strengthen the capacity of municipalities to manage their own affairs, exercise their powers and perform their functions, must comply with the legislative frameworks in this chapter in order to conform to rules made under the auspice of institutions such as the Auditor General and the Public Protector. Honourable Speaker, it is at this where my key focus will be today on the various municipalities and how they're performing and the mechanisms that the department should be focusing on. The above mentioned implement the core principles, mechanisms and processes that are necessary to enable municipalities to move progressively towards the social and economic upliftment of local communities, ensure universal access to essential services that are affordable to all. Honourable members, based on the above, the department clearly does not implement its mandate. Material underspent on all grants, specifically and the underperformance of EPWP grants in the 2020-2021 financial year. There were a 0% expenditure on the EPWP grant and the 180 million rand underspent on the informal settlements upgrading grant. The cumulative irregular expenditure as 31 March 2022 stood at 3.66 billion rand. The Human Settlements Program is the core mandate of the department and receives more budget than any other program. The program had a budget allocation of 1.232 billion rand for the 21-22 financial year. The expenditure on this program was 265 million rand, which is 70.4% of the program's allocation. There were 14 performing indicators and targets for 4, of which 4 were achieved, translating to 28.6% achieved. Despite this underachievement, the department spent 70.4% of the program budget in that year under review. The performance indicators and targets do not correspond with the percentage towards expenditure. Due to that, the department's lack of performance during that financial year, 147 million rand was returned to Treasury, which could have built 2,100 RDP houses and irrevocably changed the lives of our vulnerable members of our society. The 26 targets of 100% achieved under corporate governance is meaningless accolades since the majority of our municipalities remain dysfunctional. The amount spent on consultants during 2020-2021 financial year was 245 million rand. Despite the excessive use of consultants, errors were identified in their financial statements submitted for auditing by all municipalities except Waterberg. Municipalities incurred 1.8 billion rand in irregular expenditure in 2020-21 financial year, mostly resulting from non-compliance with supply chain management legislation. This financial mismanagement continues with impunity. According to the AG, Bela-Bela, Messina, Mupani, Tabazimbi, and Modimolle-Mookgopong were in a vulnerable financial position. Why do the provincial interventions deployed in these municipalities remain ineffective? The department can no longer ignore the Section 52 and 71 reports. These reports have to be submitted and decisively acted upon. Municipalities in the province incurred 3.6 billion rand in unauthorized expenditure, which is an increase from the previous financial year. There are about 30 municipalities that have spent less than 10% of their MIG grants in the first 2 months of the 22-23 financial years. Municipalities that experience stoppages of funds are Bela-Bela, Mupani, Mogalakwena, Eframokhale, Makatumaga, Petagomo Tubatse, and Sekutuni. These challenges are recurring and the needs must be addressed urgently. The department failed on the percentage of traditional leadership succession claims or disputes received and processed. The planned target was 100% of the claim disputes received and was only able to process 44% of these disputes were resolved, citing a lack of cooperation from royal families. The lack of finalizing such disputes creates a lack of stability in our rural areas and can impact on the rural economy and food security. The high number of litigations stemming from the FACA Commission will not to be reduced or eliminated by procuring vehicles and providing other benefits to the existing traditional leaders. This must be prioritized. The Land Claims Commissioner noted that the unresolved disputes emanating from the FACA Commission spilled over to the 600 dispute land claims in our province, not only delaying redress and dignity of claimants, but adding a great financial burden to these processes. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thanks, Honourable Snan. Honourable Committee Chair, Honourable Bela-Bela.
Council, honorable members of this August House, distinguished guests and members of the media fraternity, locked onto different live streaming channels. The Honorable Speaker, the restoration of the dignity of the people of Limpopo remains the most critical priority of the Congress movement, the African National Congress. Their wealth, their well-being, as well as the preservation of their land is high on their agenda. As we continue to celebrate 29 years of political freedom and the achievements of nearly 3 decades, we are mindful of the need to further improve the lives of our people through quality and sustainable programs and services. Honorable Speaker, the Freedom Charter states that there shall be houses and security and comfort. Equally, everyone has the right to have access to adequate housing. Honorable Speaker, the state must take reasonable legislative and other measures within its available resources to achieve the progressive realization of this right. This is enshrined in the most important document in the Republic of the country, that is tagged the Bill of Rights. Honorable Speaker, let me join my colleagues and commend the Department for receiving yet an unqualified audit opinion in the financial year 2021-2022. The Department has been receiving the same audit opinion for the past 5 years with no improvement. This is commendable because it shows that if the Department can work harder on relevancy and address the material misstatements raised by the Auditor General of South Africa, then you'll definitely receive a clean audit. But the Honorable Speaker, as the committee, we are seriously concerned about lack of capacity in the financial section of municipalities. We have observed that almost all municipalities utilize the services of consultants to prepare the annual financial statement. Some of those consultants are charging exorbitant fees, which could have been used to pay the services that we promise our communities. The department must assist municipalities to employ people with financial knowledge and required qualification. This is becoming as urged on the MEC and is no longer a challenge. Notwithstanding, we do understand in terms of legislation that the department capacitates municipalities to implement their legal mandates through developmental planning, municipal infrastructure development, local government support, and democratic governance and disaster management. But we truly want to reiterate that if the department is to zoom in, we could see a good stride in our municipalities in the entire province. The committee was further concerned, Honorable MEC, about the persisting challenge of failure by the department to prepare annual financial statements in line with the prescribed financial reporting statement. And the question to the committee was that if the department itself will be unable to prepare the AFS, what will then happen in the sphere of government that is in the local government without the use of consultants? This observation, Honorable MEC, is supported by the Auditor General, who reported that material misstatements of current assets, current liabilities, and disclosure. This anomaly, Honorable MEC, has been going on for a very long time, which as a portfolio committee, we want to see things turning a different direction, Honorable MEC. We want to stand here and come and debate the success of over 80% in our municipalities. On that note, Honorable MEC, we also want to commend the department by filling critical posts. We commend the department by putting in front of the entire institution a woman as a HOD of the department. That is truly commendable. Now, Honorable MEC, the Human Settlements Program is the core mandate of the department, and it received more budget than any other programs. The aim of this program is to ensure housing development, access to adequate accommodation in relevant, well-located areas, access to basic services, access to social infrastructure, and economic opportunities. The program has a budget allocation of 1.232 billion for the 2021-2022 financial year, yet the expenditure of this program, Honorable MEC, was 886.265 million, which is translated to 70.4% of the program's allocation. But equally, as a portfolio committee, we were so disturbed to say, why would such a program of such pertinent issues embedded in it be not spent up to 100%? Then when we interface with the department, honorable members, we are elated to also inform this August House that the efforts of the department to mitigate these thorny and long-term elephants in the room is a plan to deal with these challenges of inadequate project planning, inadequate capacity for project planning, and incapacity of contractors in the department. We really appreciate that there's an intervention plan in place under the MEC, developed to streamline all planning activities with time frames. And we also noted that town planners have been seconded to human settlements project, and also professional engineers advertised to human settlement planning. We hope that some of these mitigation strategies were put in place, as and when we come back to debate, the department, honorable MEC, will be reporting them as good stories. And honorable MEC, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. If an elephant has its food on the tail of a mouse, and you say that you are neutral, the mouse will not appreciate your neutrality. That is Desmond Tutu. Honorable MEC, there's a municipality in the province that has spent over hundreds of millions to go and get back erroneous payment of about 5 million. We want the people of Limpopo to get to the end of that matter. I was just waiting for you, MEC. We want the people of Limpopo to get to the end of that matter. That is money meant for service delivery, money meant for the people. Limpopo is tagged one of the most poorest provinces in the country, and we cannot allow money to move in the back doors or through interventions or through plannings of vultures, money that is meant for service delivery. Most of the people that are looking at this government, honorable MEC, for service delivery is the previously disadvantaged individuals, most particularly blacks. And I do not want to sound unparliamentary, the Honorable Speaker. That is the true reflection of the province that we stay in. So the Honorable, the MEC, we need to, in the next debate when we come here, to know what had happened to the money in the district municipality. And I know the HOD is here, she will definitely assist in that. Further than that, the Honorable MEC, Honorable Speaker, as the Portfolio Committee of Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, when we interfaced with the department, it gave us great joy to see that the department is sailing in the right direction. And I thank you.
Honorable Chair of the committee, if we may come back and also deal with 7.3. Consideration and adoption of the report of the Portfolio Committee on CoGHSTA on 2022-2023 first quarter report. Sorry, Committee Chair. I think we'll wait for her.
Greetings to you, again, Honorable Speaker. That got me a bit of that, but it's fine. Honorable Speaker, Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, I hereby move that the 2022-23 first quarter report of the Department of CoGHSTA be duly appointed as a report of this distinguished house. I move approval.
Thank you. Any second? Honorable Bishop.
Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the orders tabled by the chairperson.
Let's proceed for the debate. The first speaker on the list, Honorable Waseko.
Thanks once more, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to observe protocol because I was there. It turns out that providing shelter and economic empowerment is both morally correct and economically progressive, because discrimination, poverty, and ignorance restrict growth, while investment in infrastructure and technological research increased, creating more quality jobs and new wealth. The government that cares for its society inculcates the culture of patriotism and confidence amongst its people. CoGHSTA is mandated to provide social infrastructure such as housing for the benefit of society. This is part of rebuilding the society, and if the department does not expedite these services, it means that the government is reduced and their moral right of getting shelter is violated. The Portfolio Committee received a briefing about spending during first quarter by the department for the financial year 2022-2023. The annual allocation for the year is 2.4 billion. The department's targets meant to spend 25% of the total allocation by providing quality services to society. We report to this House as the committee that the department commenced spending that budget on a quarterly basis according to their plans. But this spending gives a sense about the spending pattern that the department will undertake going to other quarters, which is the main issue. Their plan and implementation of the plan and target is very critical so that we deal with a underspending for this financial year. And it is very clear that there are plannings, advanced planning to ensure that at least they're able to achieve their quarterly target, and that will be commended. However, it does not reflect well that only 437 million was spent instead of 634. It's a highlight already that for this quarter, they have spent 18.1% instead of 25. But the assurance that was made is that they've put systems in place to ensure that in the second quarter they will cover that deficit, which is commendable. Because you must start by the first quarter to spend according to your plan, and all these quarters will follow suit. If not, put systems in place to improve your spending pattern. We also report that the department received conditional grants amounting to 1.1 billion, which was for 48.6% of the total budget. The grants were meant for integrated sustainable human settlement, and which which is amounting to 906 million, and informal settlement, upgrading partnership amounting to 269 million. These are the two key programs that the department is going to deal with. The department must report to the House what were the challenges in the spending grant in the first quarter, and also report which informal settlements were being considered for upgrading in 2022-2023 financial year. The committee observed performance in a number of programs, and the women settlement programs only managed to spend 14.3%, which should be their area of focus. Women settlement is the core program of the department and is the one that the government resolved that it will provide social infrastructure to society. The average overall expenditure by the department in the first quarter, as I said, is 18.1. But we recommend that the department must institute consequence management in case people are sleeping on duty, in case people are neglecting their duties. We are using the first quarterly report to play our oversight role to the department to ensure that quarterly indicators and targets set in the annual performance plan have been achieved accordingly. We must remind the department that it is the duty of the accounting officer to implement those targets in line with the budget presented and approved by the House. And the accounting officer made a commitment that she will do everything possible to ensure that she implements the wish of the portfolio committee. Quarterly monitoring of this performance indicator is an important element of planning and budgetary processes. Reports function as an early warning system by alerting the departments to areas of weak performance and areas where remedial action is required. We must also remind the department that if there are variances between planned and actual output, an explanation of the challenge resulting in the variances should also be provided and be approved. The committee was also concerned about the support given to traditional leaders. The ANC-led government has good relationship with traditional leaders and continues to build the relationship. The department was allocated 524 million and only 21.3% was spent during this first quarter instead of 25. The department had 3 plan targets in the quarter under review and only 1 was achieved. There were reports of disputes in the construction of traditional council offices. The committee was also concerned about the time taken to resolve such disputes on traditional leadership. The committee recommends that the department should keep the House updated on progress made on litigations, should update the House on the progress made on litigation cases that arose from the Khatla Commission report, because it's another area which needs to be closed. The department must then find out if the dispute over the site where much of the Traditional Council office was going to be constructed has been resolved or not. And the House must also receive clarity if the chieftainship dispute at Tumeri was dealt with. What is the progress to date on the construction of Traditional Council offices? We support the adoption of the committee report of the first quarter. We implore upon the department to implement all the committee recommendations. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Maseko. Honorable Mapo.
Thank you very much. Once more, protocol observed in terms of the rules of the House. Honorable Speaker, of the total allocated budget of 2.310 billion, the department spent 402 million, which is 17.4% of the total allocated budget during the period under review. The department has also planned to construct 235 military veteran housing units across the district in this financial year. Only one military veteran housing unit was constructed in 1920 financial year. This is scandalous and shameful for poor veterans. Tubatha land acquisition scandal is still unresolved to date since the scandal was first reported in 2017. Similarly, the Marapo housing unit scandal remains a thorny issue today. The strategy of government is to drag these issues until they disappear in the minds of the people. We need progress reports on Tubatha land, Marapo housing scandal, and Talani housing corruption. If you think we'll see this corruption under the carpet, you better think again. The EFF is watching the situation very closely. We need full investigation reports on cases mentioned. The EFF will stop at nothing but to continue to advocate for good and clean governance in Limpopo. The EFF has keen interest on these issues because they revolve around taxpayers' money and the general well-being of our people. We will follow up these issues and continue to expose corruption to the end until justice is served. This shows that the ANC government lacked political will to deal with corruption. How can an issue such as this one drag for so long without proper resolution? Surely this does not inspire confidence to an ordinary citizen. Honorable Speaker, how many traditional leaders' cases did the Khata Commission resolve this inception? And how much was spent on this commission? We ask the question because the majority of cases, some dating back as far as 1996, still remain unresolved to date. Our observation is that instead of resolving traditional leadership cases, the government is the one which is responsible for fueling tension and division in the majority of royal houses, especially in the mining areas, in the whole of the province. The government applies what we call divide and conquer rule. They put people whom they can use to steal mineral resources while sidelining the rifle heir to the throne. Those who do not agree with their looting spree, even when they are rifle heir, are not provided with certificate and are sidelined to the corner. The ANC government behaves like they are not African themselves because they trample on African values, principles, and culture at ease. They have no respect and regard for African culture and values as long as they can get what they want, in this case, minerals. Honorable Speaker, the obsession with consultant by municipalities is deliberate because it is being used as a milking cow or a vehicle to loot state resources. Why do you use consultants when you have people in government employed to do so, to do the job? What do you want to achieve with white men, with white people with white shirts inside offices doing nothing but milking the government? In some instances, these consultants do not even deliver on the money given to them. Municipalities enlist the services of consultants and they still do not get any value for the money. This amounts to fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The EFF cannot accept this deliberate and wasteful corrupt trend. The EFF government will abolish the usage of private companies to fulfill functions of and duties of government that should fulfill. The EFF government will ban and usage of consultant and project management unit as a basis of delivering government services. The EFF government will build internal capacity to fulfill its own functions and responsibilities thereby avoiding being influenced and having its employees bribed by private companies and consultants in the fulfillment of government tasks. The EFF government will establish state administration costs to promptly respond to incidents of corruption with the aim of firing and blacklisting corrupt state employees and private companies and recovering money lost due to corruption. The EFF government will introduce a minimum sentence of 20 years for all public representatives and servants convicted of crime. I thank you for that.
Thank you, Honorable Smani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Members of the Executive, once again, good afternoon. Quarterly reports function as a word of warning to departments on areas of weak performances and to afford the department the opportunity to rectify the same. If lack of consequence management persists, these reports are meaningless. Unfortunately, the first quarter already indicates that past weak performances are creeping into this financial year. In the budget of the department, conditional grants amounts to 1,176,418,000 rand, which is 48.6% of the total budget. The remaining 51.4% comes from equitable shares. The grant are ISHS of 906 million and informal settlements upgraded partnerships or ISIP of 269.46 million. The amount spent as of 30 June 2022 was 26.529 million rand or 9.8%. The expenditure was less than 10%. Despite the committee's reiterated concerns that the Human Settlements Program only managed to spend 14.3% of its allocated budget. During the previous financial year, the department could have built the 2,100 houses with the money that was returned to Treasury. Under the Corporate Governance Program, 17 of the 18 targets were met. We reiterate our concern that the set targets do not pass muster when measured against the lack of performance and challenges faced by our various municipalities. The lack of taking effective and appropriate steps by the municipalities to hold officials accountable for their 3.6 billion rand and to try to recoup some of these funds must be laid at the doorsteps of the department. The reluctance of the department to comply with Section 38(1) of the PFMA does not only set a good example to municipalities, but it prevents the department from obtaining an improved audit opinion. The lack of oversight, appointments of officials to municipalities resulted in consultant fees amounting to 971 million rand over the past 5 years. These funds could have been channeled towards service delivery instead of cadre deployment, which is suffocating the viability of our municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Smith.
The department is unable to spend all of its allocation on cooperative governance. The department reported 18 targets, the Honourable Speaker, and they achieved 17, which to us as a portfolio committee is a step in the right direction. And we were also made aware, Honourable MEC, about that the department had received investigation reports from the Special Investigation Unit and the Public Protector with regards to the lands in Mfulati, the VPS, Talana, Marapon, CRU, and NSAR, which were done in the previous financial year. The department must also report progress on the implementation of those reports. And we are very elated, Honourable MEC and members, because some of the members here have not been with us when the department was reporting to us with regard to the 33 million advance payment that was made to the contractor in Marabu. We really appreciate the efforts towards mitigating that particular challenge, Honourable MEC. Maybe if you could still take the House through what has been happening, so all members seated here are able to be privy to that particular knowledge. And the Honourable MEC, you should know, we should state it here, without any fear of prejudice, any fear of being misquoted, or any fear of being unpopular, the Honourable MEC, that the Marapon Housing Project will be monitored by the Portfolio Committee until its completion. It was reported that the Auditor General of South Africa raised irregularities in the preparation of the annual financial statement since 2017-2018 financial year. And we are further elated that progress has been made towards attaining some of the issues that were raised by the AGSA. We will will work together with the Department of MEC as part of our oversight role to ensure that MIGs are spent accordingly. The committee was also concerned about the spending on the MIG by municipalities, and we are waiting for the report, Honorable MEC, through your HOD for the MIG expenditure reports to date. On that note, we really should appreciate and applaud the department by giving support to local government institutions that are municipalities. The support from the MEC has yielded 2 clean audits in the province. We are elated to also inform this House that the Capricorn District Municipality have regained a state in the province of becoming a house of clean audit or an institution of clean audit led by a very young and progressive mayor who's a woman by the name of Councillor Mamitupi Christie. It is a pride, Honorable Mookgopong, for us as women to have young women achieve in that area of the province. As part of its program, the department is entrusted to create jobs through projects that it's awarded to its contractors. Such jobs, they are created, must be recorded and reported. The department has 3 targets for this program in the first quarter, and only 1 was achieved, the Honorable MEC. The performance targets were not achieved, and this includes the creation of job opportunities created through the construction of houses and servicing of the sites. And another thing that we had raised as a concern, Honorable MEC, as a committee, is lack of forward planning. Because some of the projects that you must implement as a department, you must get a municipality ready. You must get a municipality ready to be a place where you can implement housing projects, the CRUs, which says to us that interpolation planning must then take precedence, the Honorable MEC, which if that planning is to be embarked on, will not come and debate the amount of grants returning back to other provinces. As Limpopo, we are in dire needs of those particular funds. And also again, the Honorable MEC, we have seen removal of asbestos roofs in Seshiro, in Ward 17, in Ward 57, I believe in Ward 14 of Polokwane. Could you also take us through, because that is a very good story to tell of the African National Congress-led government. We also do really appreciate that effort, the Honorable the MEC. And during our interaction with the department in the first quarter, it was also reported that the total budget meant for upgrading of informal settlement was also spent. The grant for informal settlement upgrading partnership amounting to 269,465 million should be spent under the MEC, and this will be spent if forward planning is to be taken as an integral part of both the department and the spheres of government, that is local government, in this case our municipalities. And as the portfolio committee responsible for human settlement, cooperative governance and traditional affairs, Honorable the MEC, as the portfolio committee, we are saying the department is still on the right track, but that does not mean we will not perform our jobs to the best of our ability. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yes. Thanks, Honorable Bela-Bela. If we may proceed with item 7.3. Consideration and adoption of the reports of the Portfolio Committee on CoGHSTA on the oversight visit.
Greetings again to you, the Honorable Speaker, and distinguished guests and honorable members in the House. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, Human Settlement and Traditional Affairs, I hereby move that the oversight visit report to Bela-Bela local municipality be duly adopted as a report of distinguished House. I move accordingly, the Honorable Speaker.
Thanks. Any second? Honorable Silan.
Thank you, Speaker. I, Chair stand here to second the Honorable Levy. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. We shall now refer to the speakers list. Our first speaker is Honorable Mtaka. Yes. It's like the Honorable Chair has only spoke about the first visit to Bela-Bela. If we can allow her to proceed with another oversight visit to Modimolle.
Greetings again to your Honorable Self, the Speaker. On behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs, I hereby move that the Oversight visit report to Modimolle-Mookgopong local municipality be duly adopted as a report of this distinguished House. I move approval.
Thank you very much. Any seconder? Honorable Masako. Thank you, Honorable Daga. You may proceed with your debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members and our visitors at the gallery, I greet you all this morning. I stand before you on behalf of the African National Congress, the governing party in our country, in our province, and in many of the municipalities. Honorable Speaker, let me start by quoting the President of the African National Congress in his message to the people of our country, the election manifesto of local government 2021. And it goes as follows, open quote. We face a moment in history when we must choose between the path of division, conflict, destruction, inequality, and exclusion, and the path of unity, hard work, development, inclusivity, and shared prosperity. And the quote goes further as, we choose the path of unity. That means we choose the path of unity as the ANC in this country. We choose the path of hard work by all. We choose the path of development, and we choose the path of inclusivity, including everyone, and also shared prosperity. It is important for us to understand this message from the President, Honorable Speaker. Why the ANC conducts itself the way it conducts itself, including when we are battered from all corners, from all sides, by everyone, by those who organize to try and create conflicts within our country. Those that I can say, Madam Speaker, are in terms of the 20% principle of leadership, are at the lower level of the rank of leadership. They are not those 20% at the top where President Matamela belongs. They are at the lower rank of the 20% that establishes leadership at all times, whenever they get an opportunity to speak or to do anything. We are standing here again, Madam Speaker, understanding that the challenges that are faced, that we found when we visit our municipalities, are not solely challenges of municipalities, but they are challenges of all of us who are faced with the same challenges everywhere. The report is very clear. The two reports are very clear. I mean, the municipalities we visited are very clear that there are challenges of financial instability. But those challenges are everywhere. Whether it be national departments, whether it be a provincial department, and whether it is any other municipality, not necessarily Bela-Bela and Modimolle-Mookgopong municipalities. So these are issues that we need to deal with. And the top leaders, those who occupy the upper echelons of leadership, are the ones who must actually take out of this challenge. We can have these reports here and we cry foul as if indeed these municipalities are very bad. It is the challenges that are facing all of us in the whole country. It is the challenges that are facing us as honorable members. It is the challenges that are facing us of our top echelons of leadership in this house, our MPCs, including the Premier. Of course, the majority of the people are within the 60% who need training. And they are there also in Modimolle-Mookgopong and also in Bela-Bela local municipality. And indeed, we need to capacitate them to make sure that they produce results, they produce statements that can be indeed be showing that we are going somewhere as a country for the shared prosperity that our people were promised. Madam Speaker, yes, no one has the money, but the money must be spent properly. It must be regulated properly. The URFW that are everywhere, in all departments they are there. It is only in those few municipalities or a few departments that manage to obtain or improve in their financial reporting, where you might not necessarily find big figures. Previous speakers said something about this. It is high time that we come up with a solution. So those who are in the top echelons of leadership must assist us and train the majority that are in the 60%. And not necessarily concentrate in the lower ranks of leadership. Those who come to change, those who oppose everything, those who always try to put something to make sure that we fall. Those ones must not necessarily be taken seriously, including political parties that have got no solution to some of the problems that we're talking about. Because it's only the giant African National Congress that is having leadership that can indeed take this country somewhere. An organization that has got many years leading and not necessarily destroying other parties, but leading and making sure that they lead with the others and take everybody, including those that want to go. We will continue doing that. We will never be shaken by anything. And we believe Ramaphosa, our president, is actually the one that will lead us to that prosperity that we're talking about. Our premier is the one that will lead us in this progress to that prosperity that we're talking about, Madam Speaker. I know that we don't have enough time, but I believe that if we all work together, like it is promised in the manifesto, we will go somewhere. We'll build better communities. Let's stay focused at all times and make sure that we are actually guided by what the people want. We are actually guided by the aspirations of our people and not what we ourselves want, because that is how the African National Congress works. We need to be guided by the Freedom Charter. We need to be guided by our own manifestos. It is only the African National Congress that says we will at all times fight corruption. We will deploy accountable leaders. We will make sure that we train those that we are supposed to train. That's why, even in this house, honorable members that want to still be trained can be trained, so that they can be focused at all times at the problem and not be part of the problem and delay our march to the future that we want. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Daga. Thank you very much. The next speaker, Honorable Mapolu.
Very much. I laid a very strong foundation at Capricorn District Municipality, and I tell myself nobody can do it. Honorable Speaker, it is quite concerning that Bela-Bela Municipality incorrectly calculated and authorized expenditure in the previous year. In contravention of Section 125, subsection 2D of the MFMA, thereby understating the unauthorized expenditure by 21 million. The incorrect calculation of unauthorized expenditure should not be seen as a mere oversight, as a face value. It has an underlying bad and evil intention to hide corruption or even to give an impression that unauthorized expenditure is not rife as we may think. It is said that bid committee members do not have capacity, hence high irregular expenditure. But how do you assemble a group of incapable people to adjudicate on such an important matter? We will tell you why you do this. It is precisely because you want people who will rubber stamp wrong things, in particular corruption. You want to channel tenders to undeserving family members, friends, comrades, and concubines in order to feed their corruption appetite. Internal control systems at the Bela-Bela municipality leaves much to be desired. They do not inspire confidence in all, much like all other municipality and government departments in the province. Honorable Speaker, can we get an explanation as to why contracts of the service provider IAD Consulting expired on the 30th of June 2020, yet they were used to provide services in the 2020-2021 financial year? Which policy did you use to arrive at this decision? Furthermore, repairs and maintenance remain significantly inadequate when compared with the municipality's asset base. This results in aging infrastructure such as water losses due to pipe bursts, etc. People complain about chronic shortage of water, and yet water is lost through aging infrastructure inherited from apartheid system. Bela-Bela local municipality must appoint qualified staff including managers with skills and conversant with their job to avoid over-reliance on consultants. Nothing but the municipality is spending a lot of money on litigation and sometimes unnecessary litigations. The municipality must always avoid unwarranted litigations. The MEC must explain to this size why Bela-Bela municipality use same consultant with same scope of work, but money doubled, and the rationale of using same consultant when the contract has expired. Honorable Speaker, the financial problems of Modimolle-Mookgopong started when the two municipalities merged in August 2016. The merger of the two municipalities was not properly managed. Hence, the municipality continued to experience the challenges they are currently experiencing. Some of the challenges include too many creditors. Replication of positions with over 70% of unskilled workers, compounded by the problem in the municipality. A proper skills audit must be done and not speak in generic terms. We need to find out how these unskilled workers were employed in the first place and what are their qualifications. Furthermore, it is also concerning that the municipality has excessive legal bills and ever-increasing ESCOM bill. The EFF noted that the municipality owes ESCOM more than 700 million. This implies that the municipality is not doing well on revenue collection, also in terms of all other sources of income. This municipality is in a state of financial distress and technically insolvent. Hence, they tabled an unfunded budget in 2022-23 financial year. The municipality, which is in disarray, will not fulfill its constitutional obligation and mandate on delivering services to the people. Modimolle-Mookgopong municipality is the highest debtor of ESCOM and Mahali's water due to contingent liability from the former municipalities and that was amalgamated. This means that the transition was badly handled. Hence, such anomalies are expected to happen. Yes, this is that hard. The municipality municipality rely heavily on consultants because majority of available staff do not have necessary skills and sufficient enough engineers. Honorable Speaker, we need to emphasize the point alluded to earlier on unskilled workers in the municipality. How did the staff member without necessary skills go to employed in the municipality? We need to ask this question because it should lead us to the root of the problem. Most of the irregular expenditure was attributed to non-compliance with the supply chain management processes. The municipality did not have measures in place to eliminate unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditures. This is a major weakness in the government. A lot of anomalies could be prevented from happening, but there is no political will to do so by those who are in authority, Mtate, by Scott Makama, Honorable. A total of 6.9 million was spent on consultants in 1920 financial year, and the amount doubled in the following year. This happens because government does not have capacity to perform its own functions, and therefore there is over-reliance on consultants. The EFF government will abolish the use of consultants and capacity in the state to be in a position to render government functions. Honorable Speaker, the truth is that nothing is working with this government because the ANC is a problem on itself. Kamina Kawana will continue as long as the ANC government is in power.
Honorable Sman.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The reason that the committee actually undertook this effort over these municipalities destitute from the dysfunctionality of our various municipalities. The Constitution requires the Portfolio Committee to participate in meaningful oversight. Following the AG's report on dysfunctional municipalities, the portfolio identified the 5 worst audit-performing municipalities and subsequently conducted its oversight. Bela-Bela municipality was one, following their disclaimer audit opinion of 2020-2021 and their inability to spend their grant funding. The municipality's unauthorized expenditure ballooned from 29.988 million in 2019-20 to 70.995 million rand in 2020-2021. Irregular expenditure increased from 67.344 million in 2019-2020 financial year to 98.7 million rand in 2020-2021. And fruitless and wasteful expenditure went up from 1.922 billion rand to 834 million rand in the subsequent year. These figures clearly demonstrate the lack of due process, lack of implementing Treasury regulations, and the disregard of various respective legislations. Bela-Bela municipality managed to spend only 50% of its grant allocation, and it underspent that by 12.79 million rand. Other grants received by the municipality during 2020-21 financial year include the Water Services Infrastructure Grant, which of 32 million rand and an expenditure of 24.6 million, only spending 76% of that allocation. And its WISIC Schedule 6B, it only managed to spend 58% of its 3.819 million rand, a total expenditure of 1.743 million. Noting that 69% of our people in Limpopo has access to water makes this a human rights violation. 8.35 million rand was spent on financial consultants, and when evaluating the 3 companies being consistently utilized, it does create the impression of malfeasance by this municipality. The total number of lawsuits proved to be a liability. Cases of the municipal fleet that were previously recorded when procuring 40 vehicles which was leased to the municipality. The Dicala plant hired municipal pool vehicles with a 36-month operating lease contract. Maintenance remains significantly inadequate when compared with the municipal asset base. This results in aging infrastructure such as water losses due to pipe bursts. The municipality is unable to connect nearly 2,500 houses and or stands in that specific municipality. The Portfolio Committee also further noted with regret that Modimolle-Mookgopong local municipality is in financial distress due to a high salary bill for staff as a result of amalgamation because no retrenchments were done. This resulted in the municipality having duplication in every position. The municipality has excessive legal bills and an ever-increasing ESCOM bill that makes it difficult for the municipality to honour its commitment. Modimolle-Mookgopong is one of 3 municipalities in the province with a high ESCOM debt. The municipality owes ESCOM more than 700 million rand. In this 2017-18 financial year, the municipality used 8 million rand of WISC for operational matters, and that National Treasury forced the municipality to repay these monies. The 2020-21 AG report shows that the municipality obtained a qualified opinion, unauthorized expenditure of 392 million and 374 million rand respectively, irregular expenditure of 76 million rand and 32 million rand, fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 55 million and 2.7 million rand. The CFO indicated that they needed an estimated 12 million rand to replace almost 9,000 water meters in the municipality. The 22.9 million MIG funds surrendered by the municipality could have been utilized to purchase these water meters. Other conditional grants to the municipality are Integrated National Electrification Program grant that was allocated of 1.7 million rand and there was 0 expenditure. INEP municipality was allocated 10 million rand and there was also a 0 expenditure. Government Financial Management grant was allocated 2.6 million rand, of which only 20.7% expenditure was recorded of 539,000 rand. Water Services Infrastructure grant was allocated 20 million rand and there was 0 expenditure. And the EPWP grant allocated of 2.245 million and the expenditure that was recorded was 72.3% or 1.624 million. Consulting fees doubled from 6.9 million rand to 13.7 million rand, clearly indicating the inability by the municipality to manage its financial affairs. Despite these challenges, it remains incumbent on the department to assist and guide officials to improve audit reports and service delivery. It is therefore imperative, Honourable MEC, that the various reports that does come to your office, that the province needs to act, that we need to guide,
in conclusion,
and that we need to
Honourable
turn around these failing municipalities. Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thanks very much. Honourable Committee Chair, Honourable Bela-Bela.
Greetings again to you, the Honourable Speaker, members of the Executive Council, honourable members of this August House, members in the gallery, members of the media connected in different platforms. Honourable Speaker, since the advent of democracy, We have laid down the principles that ensure that municipalities are transparent and accountable to the communities they serve. We have brought governance closer to the community so that they feel their expectations are met. Hence the visit by the Portfolio Committee to the municipalities of Bela-Bela and Modimolle-Mookgopong. Honorable the Speaker, a clear case of Kamina Kawena is displayed in Modimolle-Mookgopong because there's a government of national unity between the reds and the blue. The Modimolle-Mookgopong municipality remains one of the municipalities, not only in the province, but in the country, which are greatly indebted to ESCOM. The Democratic Alliance-led municipality with coalition with the economic freedom fighters owes the power utility nothing less than 400 million. We visited both municipalities, Bela-Bela and Modimolle-Mookgopong, in order to find facts and deduce the truth from those facts. Honorable Speaker, it is said that the true test of democracy is the extent to which we can ensure that municipalities remain answerable to its people. We must do this by maintaining constant monitoring of government's action so that we can evaluate whether our good intentions are successful or not. We would, in this regard, Honorable Speaker, like to address this August House to the truth discovered of the two municipalities, one Bela-Bela and two Modimolle-Mookgopong, after we got all facts. The oversight role conducted at these municipalities has given light on the tough operation that they are faced with and also how money has been spent. The Bela-Bela local municipality, the Honorable Speaker, received a disclaimer audit outcome in the financial year 2020-2021. And as reported by the CoGHSTA, this audit outcome painted a gloomy picture that the municipality is dysfunctional and therefore requires much attention. CoGHSTA, with its constitutional mandate, must intervene through provision of consistent support and capacitate the financial sections of that municipality. For a situation like that in a municipality of that stature, which is a town in itself, simply implies that services were not adequately rendered to its citizens. We must also ask if the municipality has a plan to create employment for the people it must serve. And as the Portfolio Committee, we have a responsibility to hold the municipality accountable on how the taxpayers' money is spent. And not only that, but the state's resources invested for adequate service delivery in that municipality. We were concerned anyway by the fact that the municipality, instead of delivering services, it was defendant of litigation cases under the MEC, which were brought against the municipality. However, for those litigations, the municipality did not make provision for liabilities in the annual financial statements. Those litigations were in connection with the municipal fleet. We further advise that the municipality must avoid unnecessary litigations and its focus should be on the constitutional mandate to deliver the services. CoGHSTA must also play its role in ensuring that the staff is trained, and not only trained but adequately trained, to ensure that contracts entered into with the service providers are fulfilled to the end. The municipality must institute consequences management against officials involved, which should not only end as a rhetoric, Honorable Monarch. We have made the recommendations in our report as the committee concerning this unfavorable truth, and the municipality must therefore implement. But the Honorable Speaker, all hope is not lost. We are exultant to report to this August House that since the visit to this institution, intervention from the department, lastly and over above it all, the will by the municipality itself, its fortune have been turned for the better. Maybe, the Honorable Speaker, it gives us great pride as the Portfolio Committee Chair that the municipality is under the tutelage of a determined and progressive woman by the name of Councillor Gloria Selek. I thought Honorable Makurupeja would be the one to give a hand to a success of this municipality, as she's so fond of doing. On that note, the Honorable MEC, we really appreciate the efforts that you are putting to these municipalities, because from the previous sections of 2020-2021 financial year, in the entire province we had 2 disclaimer audit outcomes. But to date, we only have one disclaimer audit outcome, which is Mopani District Municipality. Bela-Bela, which used to be in part of the disclaimer audit outcome, is out of the red, and we really do appreciate the effort made by the department. On that note, let's also send words of salutation to the municipality of Polokwane, where in the previous 4 years they've got a qualified audit opinion, but in the current financial year, in the previous financial year, they have received an unqualified audit opinion. We really thank you, the Honorable MEC, with the intervention and your team. Honorable Speaker, the reason for the committee to conduct an oversight visit to Modimolle-Mookgopong is that the State of Local Government report cleared that the municipality is one of the dysfunctional municipalities in the province. We have reported here that it is also highlighted and flagged as one of the worst performing municipalities in the country, not in the province, with regards to the debt to ESCOM. The municipal performance in relation to spending on the municipal infrastructure grant was also not good. The audit opinion was reported to be qualified by the Auditor General for a period of 2020-2021 financial year. The municipality could not spend 100% of its MIG for the 1920-2021 financial year. This is an implication that the community that the municipality serves is still serving could not receive services. The Department of CoGHSTA must be hard at work to help the municipality to get out of this dire situation. It is utmost important that CoGHSTA ensures that the officials working in the finance department, Honorable MEC, both in Bela-Bela and Mookgopong, even though we have seen positive changes in Bela-Bela, we also are still reiterating that the financial section of the two institutions should be forced to undergo training on the preparation of annual financial statements. We were also concerned that in the Modimolle-Mookgopong local municipality, the contract of IET Consulting expired on the 30th of June 2020 for the honorable members. Yet the municipality continued to give them work until 2021 financial year. This is now a clear case of Taminakawa. This implied that the contract was not in line with the Municipal Finance Management Act. This also brings the knowledge and skills of the Chief Financial Officer into question. The challenge is the lack of the municipality to institute consequences management. We implore upon CoGHSTA to ensure that these municipalities are assisted to get out of this situation or other MEC, so the two institutions could be able to give the people in that municipality adequate service delivery that is invested for them to get in those two municipalities. And again, the Honorable Speaker, it is more comfort to a mouse if an elephant is standing on its tail to say, I'm impartial. In this sense, you are really supporting the elephant in its cruelty. That was just 1 to 2. And as this portfolio committee, the Honorable MEC, we will never and will never ever stand on the side of injustice. We ask for a safeguard. On that note, we draw the courage and resilience of Amilcar Cabral when he said, and I quote, hide nothing from the masses of our people. Tell no lies, expose lies whenever they are told, mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures, and claim no easy victory. And I thank you.
Thank you. We shall now call upon the Honorable MEC for CoGHSTA, Honorable Makam, to come and respond to the observations made by Honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, members of the Executive Council, the Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee of CoGHSTA, members of the August House, our HOD and other officials who are here, ladies and gentlemen and the people of Bongo, I want to greet you. Let me first appreciate the comments and observations by the Portfolio Committee on CoGHSTA. on the annual report, on the first quarter report, and also on the oversight that they did in Bela-Bela and Modimolle-Mookgopong. Let me indicate that we accept that the department has been sitting on a qualified audit opinion, that we are no longer welcome to be in that state. We should have improved to a clean audit. Part of the work that we are doing in that regard in the administration is to stabilize the senior management of the department. One of the issues is that we have just appointed a capable woman in the form of HOD and accounting officer, who is with me here today, which was appointed from the 1st of January 2023, which will take the department forward. But with the data service and the Honorable Speaker, we have already appointed a DDG responsible for human settlement, who is also accompanying the HOD in this gathering, which started from the 1st of March 2023. Mr. Mukhala is with the HOD there, which will see that we perform. One of the issues that was making us not necessary to perform and deal with the mismanagement or misstatement of financial statement is that we're living with an acting CFO in the department. We have concluded the recruitment process. The CFO who's capable will be starting to work in the department from the 1st of April 2023. So that is the issue that we are trying to do at that level to stabilize the administration so that we can improve and render services to our people. On the issue of the human settlement, it's not a fact that can be disputed by anybody, including the MEC here, of the consistent understanding of conditional grants. Honorable members have given their observations, which I fully agree with the majority to say there cannot be continuation of understanding of conditional grants when this movement which deployed us there said that there shall be housing, security and comfort, and we don't deliver on that. The current HOD has been given a clear mandate by the MEC that for any other person who contributed to poor performance in terms of these conditional grants, which is the HSDG, the US LPG, should be taken to, and I think I will get an opportunity one day in this August House to report on the actions, not necessarily love letters, that will be able to deal with that. I think that will be able to. But it will be important to clarify certain things that are said about a number of projects, Marapong CRU, Yotalani, TRUs, and the towards land. That this ANC government has taken serious steps in making sure that we combat and act on a number of wrongdoing in those projects. And I can assure you that the Marapong CRU, which was started in 2016-2017 financial year, is now on course. We have resolved contractual challenges which were bewitching that project to the extent that now it's running and we'll be able to conclude that project. We'll come and give progress to this house. I think the Talani matter, Honorable Member, we have came to this house and gave the reports. We have the SIU reports. People have been taken, arrested in the Hawks. For your information, there was no single official from the Department of CoGHSTA which was involved in that. Of course, it is our responsibility because it's our money in the HDA, but all those people have been attended to. The towards land that people speak about, it's us, even before other people could raise it anywhere in the corridor, that we commissioned investigation. It has been concluded. The matter is with the Hawks. I continue to get updated on the matter. Unfortunately, I'm not so sure why there are changes, especially for the investigators. Some are going to resign, not necessarily related to the matter. But the matter is being followed through by us with the Hawks to make sure that whoever has done wrongdoing, that's why the 108 million of the towards land remains in our book as fruitless and wasteful expenditure until such time, the AG said, until you bring us a report on the action that we have. We have not slept on duty on that matter. We are busy working on it. Of course, there are projects we are running, the asbestos project, that we can't run away to the fact that the apartheid government gave our people something that will deal with their health. And as and when we are trying to do new things, we also go back, and that cannot be hidden to our people. We are removing asbestos in Sishiko, Honorable Mapola. I have been there making sure that I play oversight on the project, and that project is running properly. We will continue in phases. In the province, we almost have 8,000 houses on asbestos, which we are continuing to make sure that each and every financial year, a particular number of asbestos are removed from our people. On corporate governance, I acknowledge the poor spending by our municipalities and the support is being given. We currently had our session with all the mayors, MMs, and technical service directors and CFOs in trying to want to deal with the issue of mixed spending because it will never be accepted. I have heard all the members speaking about the issue of the use of consultants. Together with the Office of the Premier and the MEC for Treasurer, we have developed a strategy which we call that it's a leadership strategy for the use of consultants, which we are implementing. We are targeting even those municipalities which are using more in terms of consultants, including not getting improved audit outcomes. We are targeting those and we're working on that. We also look at the issue of the appointments, and I think honorable members will know now the Systems Amendment Act that the appointment of senior managers reporting to municipal managers from the 1st of November is a permanent appointment which will try to stabilize local government and professionalize local government because there will be people who are appointed permanently. I may not want to contest Honorable Smale that most of the municipalities are dysfunctional in the province. Maybe the quantifying of the word most. We have got 27 municipalities in this province, all of them. Using all the measures we are having, it's only 3 municipalities which are said to be dysfunctional in the whole province, and they are Modimolle-Mookgopong, Lepelle-Nkumbi, and Mukalakwe. And all of us here will agree that the improvements that are taking place in Mukalakwe, not so long that municipality will have gone out of the dysfunctional category of municipalities. We are supporting Lepelle-Nkumbi. We are not so sure whether we succeed. I will come to that point of Modimolle-Mookgopong. The support of the traditional leaders. It is this government which even put it in the constitution when it came into power to recognize traditional leaders as an institution that needs to be supported. And this provincial government has never, since 1994, Honorable Mapola, that will even provide traditional councils. If you do research and go to other provinces, that you may not necessarily see as this province is doing to our traditional institutions. Honorable Sishaka will be a testimony that whenever he leaves home, he will be able to see this ANC government building a traditional council way. There is an allegation that we are fueling disputes in traditional councils as this government, more especially in the mining areas. I want this house to learn 2 words of English here, that royal families are the ones who appoint senior traditional leaders. Government recognizes what the family has appointed. It's not vice versa. So, whenever there is a dispute, it's a royal family that is fighting. That makes the government not. So you should be able to, Honorable Sishoka, know better because I sometimes engage with him when the royal families are fighting in an area where it comes from. He may make noise for the benefit of political expediency here, but the fact is royal families are the ones who appoint, and we recognize what the royal family is. The Carter Commission that we speak about, it's us that we said, and all the traditional leaders have agreed that there has been other senior traditional leaders who have been promoted and demoted by the apartheid government. And what mechanism can we use to resolve such challenges? And we agreed on the Commission of Inquiry. And in this regard, Carter Commission was made to be resolving the issues. As government, we continue to implement the recommendation of Carter Commission. But traditional leadership themselves are the ones who are challenging the report, and we are continuing to support those that the Commission has said. And we did not necessarily have a choice to have a report that we will not necessarily be implementing ourselves. Hence, we continue to implement such on the issue of the oversight to the two municipalities.
I'm part of your witness.
So I must indicate that I appreciate Chair and the committee for having chosen these two municipalities, and I think they represent the two sides of the coin. You will be able to see that Bela-Bela has been getting disclaimer audit opinion, Honorable Mookgopong, and utilizing the powers that are there in the Systems Act in terms of Section 106. It says when the MEC for local government in the province has got a reason to believe that there could be maladministration, corruption, and those all other things, he may invoke Section 106 and calls for a rapid assessment. We perfectly did that as this provincial government. And we had the report, we took a support to that municipality. As we see that improvement that we are seeing, the municipality has gone out of your disclaimer to where it is. And we must congratulate, of course, the mayor of that municipality, Honorable Councillor Gloria Siliga, who was cooperating with the department in ensuring that we support the municipality. But the true side, or the opposite side, you will get in Modimolle-Mookgopong. And that's where the notion of Kamina Kawena has got a problem. In fact, you rightfully say it, Honorable Mapolo, that the problem started in 2016, not even now. What happened in 2016, these are the facts and the truth. There was a coalition government there, EFF, DA, Freedom Front Plus in 2016.
It's not a coalition. You don't know the meaning of coalition, my friend.
In 2016, not now. I'm talking about 2016. What happened? What happened? And in this,
there was never
in this province, there are municipalities which amalgamated. Let the truth. It was Bela-Bela and Musina. Head part of Mutali. They are moving well. In Kulukwa, the establishment of Akanan into Kulukwa made us to progress elsewhere.
May we wait? Honorable Shok, may we please respect this August House? May we please respect this house? You were given an opportunity. Now is the opportunity for the MEC to respond. May you allow the MEC to proceed, Honorable Shok, and respect this August House. No.
You can't quote us. You can't quote us and
No, Honorable Shok. You were also quoting others in your debate. Honorable Shok, may I finish? You were saying whatever you wanted to say about the MEC during your debate, and the MEC was quiet. Can you please allow the MEC to respond? Sit down, Honorable Shok. No, sit down and respect this August House. No, you are continuously disrespecting this August House. No, may you please sit down. Sit down.
But you can't say that.
Sit down and allow the MEC to proceed. Sit down and keep quiet. sit down and keep count and allow the MEC to respond because you were given an opportunity. May you please allow them to sit down.
Allowed to continue.
Sit down, Shoka.
But you must not misrepresent the truth. There is no coalition in other political parties. There is no that coalition. You must not represent the truth. You must not misrepresent the truth. There is no coalition. And you must not say...
May you sit down, Shoka.
You must not say that there is no coalition. There was never a coalition.
Sit down, Shoka.
Sit with what because I'm seated now. I'm down now. What do you mean?
Proceed with the MEC.
Thank you.
It can't be me only talking, but they're also talking as well. They're not reminding them. You must be prepared.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me conclude by... Thank you. As I want to conclude, let me
now we just voted with them.
Indicate about the improvements we are making and the interventions we are making to support our municipalities, including to get clean audits. We have got 2 of them, one in the Waterberg District Municipality and the one in the Capricorn District Municipality. And there are a number of municipalities which are all unqualified, which we are working with them. And I think it's the deployment of the African National Congress, which has taken that municipality without fear of failure. When Honorable Councillor Mamtiku the municipality was on unqualified and now it's on a clean audit. And that woman should be, without some people coming to claim victory behind. If they want to claim that it's an ANC victory, they must come this side and claim it properly, not to mislead. The other thing we should be able to say, honorable members, we heard you about the issue of Skukune, money that the municipality lost about 5.4 million, but hired people to want to recover and end up paying more than the 5.4 million. That we have already started to work with the municipality to recover the money, and they will have the opportunity to update their house. Let me appreciate the fact that the chairperson and the committee interrogated these reports. Who will take them? Who may not necessarily respond to everything that has been raised. But I brought the team. It will be able to work and continue to come and update the house on the resolutions that the committee has taken. And I appreciate the guidance that we get, and we will continue to work with them. Thank you very much for this.
Thanks very much, MEC Makam, for the responses. Let's proceed to item.
What is coalition? Coalition is what we have done in the coalition. You don't know coalition. Coalition is when you vote with some vote. That is coalition.
7.4. Honorable members, we are in item 7.4, on item 7.4, consideration and adoption of the report of the Portfolio Committee on Education, Committee Chair. Honorable members, may we leave Honorable Shoka alone, please?
Thanks, Honorable
It's
Speaker.
my plea.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to greet all honorable members that are here, and ladies and gentlemen on the... What I said, or from far away. You want to Honorable Speaker, I, Matthias Sanvine, rise on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Education to present the 2022-2023 first quarter report for consideration and adoption by the August House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Any seconder? seconded to the move. Honorable Munyamani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I, Sarah Munyamani, rise to second Honorable Martin, the chairperson of the PGC.
Thank you very much. We shall now refer to the speakers list. The first speaker on our list is Honorable Sewon.
Honorable Speaker, Mayor Rosemary Renee-Lomlapo, and the Deputy Speaker in absentia, the Honorable Premier in absentia, the Honorable Chair of Chairs, Ms. Sarah Munyamani, and the Deputy Chair, the Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, that there is of Mohonyana and the Deputy, Honorable members of the Executive Committee of the Provincial Legislature, the Honorable Chairpersons of different portfolio committee members, portfolio committees, and all honorable members of the Provincial Legislature. And ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, I greet you. Honorable Speaker, education is fundamental to the aspirations of the province in relation to growth and development, and let us be determined to give every child every opportunity to develop the knowledge, the skills and attitudes to make a positive contribution to society. The strategic plan highlights four areas in which the department officials have identified as challenges and has to work as a team: finance, human resource development, excellent performance, satisfaction of stakeholders and communities, and finance. As we are still at first quarter, let's reflect from the last quarter, 2021-2022, taking a glance at our achievements, areas of improvement, and using the opportunities we have for growth and development. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, as procedural, the department briefed the Portfolio Committee on its 2022-23 first quarter financial and performance report on the 1st of September 2022. The committee met for consideration and adoption of the Portfolio Committee report on the 2022-23 first quarter financial and performance report of the Department of Education on the 17th of November 2022. The briefing provided the Portfolio Committee with a clear illustration of whether the department's planning process was adequate and targets were well planned. In terms of the early childhood development, Madam Speaker, as the committee, we are pleased that the department is determined to eradicate illiteracy, making early childhood development a top priority and further improving quality of teaching and learning in schools. The department has made preschool education compulsory and has fully integrated grade R into formal schooling. The department is working with other departments as well as with the non-profit and private sectors to strengthen early childhood development. The department is determined to ensure that every child has a textbook for every subject before the start of the first school term, and therefore commits to improving textbook retrieval. Honorable Speaker, some ECD centers had challenges with their CSD, and others had not renewed their departmental registrations. A solution is currently sought to mitigate the risk by using BAS to pay quarterly subsidy. And the department also received 54 ECD centers from DSD who were to benefit from maintenance, improvements, and upgrades. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee approached the department for assuring that strategies to address these challenges are in place. Hence, we all understand that finance is the major challenge in the department due to financial constraints. As a committee, we comment that the department has to find relevant approaches to improve modalities of efficiencies within the system, therefore managing costs and ensure optimal use of limited resources. Let the department have a will to implement strategies to reduce and manage the compensation budget. In terms of examination and education-related services, Honorable Speaker, this program has 4 sub-programs, namely the payment of sitters, the conditional grants, external examinations, professional services, and special projects. The department spent 32.9% by the end of first quarter. Underspending of 1.2 was due to underspending on compensation of employees, of which the expenditure would improve after the payment of makers, invigilators, of markers, invigilators, and monitors for the May-June 2022 exams. Honorable Speaker, marking was scheduled for July 2022. Spending on goods and services was also slow because of grade 12 May-June 2022 exam. The department is commended to be committed on improving the spending of their budget at every public school in the basic education sector. Apart from accelerating the construction, maintenance, upgrading, and rehabilitation of new and existing infrastructure, Portfolio Committee welcomed the department plan to provide schools with water and sanitation and to replace schools constructed with inappropriate materials such as mud. In public ordinary schools, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, this is an open secret that public education is quite important because it is one way through which people get equipped with the right tools to escape poverty. It is also an avenue through which people learn the basic skills they will use to work for the rest of their lives. Public education is thus important because it gives a fair platform for all to learn, irrespective of class or financial status. In this program, the department spent 25.4% of its allocated budget in this quarter, and only one performance indicator has been reported on, while the rest are due for reporting mainly in the fourth quarter. The committee recommends that the supply chain have to work out their schedules on time to avoid disappointment of underspending. On public special schools, the therapeutic special education program incorporates academic, behavioral, and emotional support in a comprehensive learning environment to help each child achieve new skills and confidence and return to their home school district with the best chance of success. Colleagues, this program spent 27.6% of the total budget allocated during the quarter under review. All the performance indicators were due for reporting in quarter 4. Honorable Speaker, the department was requested to brief the committee on the status of special schools in the province regarding availability of human resources and infrastructure. As for 30 June 2022, the department had 28 specialists based in special schools. These were nurses, 18 of them, therapists 2, and social workers 8. In terms of infrastructure, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, it has been reported that the conditional assessment currently underway will cover special schools and provide a comprehensive state of this infrastructure. MEC, parent participation of a child with a disability must be a member of any group that makes decisions regarding the placement of LRE of their child. Parents have a right to notification of all meetings regarding their child's placement access to planning and evaluation materials, and notification of any planned evaluation. Speaker, I'm raising this point out of one disturbing issue at Botlokwa Special School, wherein all learners were taken home following chickenpox outbreak, and teachers stuck with one learner that his parents don't want him. Full involvement of parents is encouraged, and with serious need for the workshops for both parents and teachers. As I'm closing, Honorable Speaker, in the end, what we want to see is schools that deliver hope to our children. The fact is that the vast majority of our country want to live together in harmony and want to improve the quality of life for all who live in our country. What we do not need in our country is division. What we do need is unity and compassion toward one another. Yes, we will face challenges, and there are no doubt more difficult times ahead, but we will overcome those challenges if we keep in mind this central goal, the unity, equality, and well-being of our children. And we will overcome those challenges if we all work together to achieve the vision of quality education for every child in every classroom, in every school in the Limpopo. I move up with the Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Son. Honorable Makan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to greet the Leader of the Opposition, Sheditsi Maraka, as well as honorable members in the House. Honorable Speaker, the EFF is disappointed by the massive under-expenditure practiced in the Department of Education as noted during the period under review. In fact, all programs underspent by the highest expenditure was on crucial programs such as public ordinary schools, education followed by examination, and education-related services, early childhood development, administration and infrastructure development. The entire report of the department is marked with under-expenditure. Truth be told, this department does not inspire confidence at all. Honorable Speaker, underspending on infrastructure projects was due to poor performance by the contractors. But if you may ask MEC, how contracts were terminated and how many service providers were blacklisted from doing business with your department? Is there any screening and vetting process for background check on contractors, because the majority of them are unscrupulous and bogus chance takers? The total under expenditure of 440 and 95 million was noted during the period under review. This money could have been used to further advance the mandate of the department, which is to achieve excellence in provisioning of innovative, quality basic education. Furthermore, the mission of your department is to achieve this by providing quality and innovative education programs for learners across all grades through excellence, professionalism, innovation, and integrity. Honorable Speaker, You will not achieve this noble vision as long as your department continues to underspend budgets and as long as there is no quantitative measures on officials who continue to underspend money which is supposed to improve the lives of the people. Under expenditure compromises service delivery and unfortunately consequence management does not apply in the current administration. Officials do as they wish because they know there is no punishment for laziness to special money for the betterment of the lives of the people. The underspending of 1.1% was mainly as a result of non-filling of posts within the classification on compensation of employees. Honorable Speaker, this department is also allergic to filling posts, and therefore service delivery does not reach the citizens of Limpopo. It is a pity that we are being led by people who do not understand the impact of their actions on service delivery and the people, especially the poorest of the poor. Honorable Speaker, has the specification for the e-learning platform and ICT resources to be supplied to schools finalized? If not, why not LEC? Can we also get an update on progress made to date since the relocation of ECD from Department of Social Development to the Department of Education? As far as we know, there has not been a smooth transition because the transition was badly handled. Some ECD centers have challenges with their CSD and other had not renewed their departmental registrations, which testimony to the fact that the migration was badly managed. Honorable Speaker, procurement for mobile classrooms, schools, furniture has not started during the period under review, pending the completion of deliveries from the previous financial year. The province is experiencing serious shortage of school infrastructure, in particular classrooms, and yet the government is still postponing procurement of mobile classrooms. Honorable Speaker, can the MEC assure us that procurement of laptops, desktop, and printing equipment for Presidential Youth Employment Initiative has been completed? If so, when, and if not, why not? Furthermore, can the MEC also update this House on projects, plans, and commitments made both in SOPA by the Premier and in the budget speech by the MEC? The people of Limpopo want to know if they are being taken for granted or whether something is being done about these commitments made. Honorable Speaker, the EFF does not make commitments. We make commitments and fulfill them. Brackets.
Honorable Smart.
Huh? In our communities. In our communities.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Huh?
Sanitation facilities in our schools continue to be a challenge that has drastically affected the learning experience of our learners in our province. It is with this backdrop that it is disappointing that the department failed to meet its targets with regards to the number of schools supplied with sanitation facilities. facility. The infrastructure backlogs experienced continue to infringe on education of an adequate quality in Limpopo and have a negative effect on public schools, especially disadvantaged schools. Although the department is already conducting a conditional assessment of all its school infrastructure, we hope that one, it is completed, a comprehensive plan is provided to accelerate the provisions of infrastructure. Honourable Speaker, underspending is reflected in many programs in the first quarter. The department's underspent in early childhood development at 54.59 million rand, infrastructure development at 20.12 million rand, examination and education-related services at 120.9 million rand, and administration at 20.38 million rand. It is extremely worrying that the large amounts of underspend and other challenges exemplified by the department's poor planning and the lack of oversight that continue to hinder education in the province seem to carry over from the previous financial years unaddressed. The non-filling of posts across programs has also resulted in underspend in the compensation of employees. It is vital that the filling of posts by qualified personnel is prioritized to address some of the pressures on our education system. Specific focus must be given to filling therapists and specialist positions in special schools for our learners with disabilities, as this is a sector of our education that has been ignored and neglected for far too long. Underspending in Program 2 was largely due to late submissions of the scholar transport and feeding program invoices by our service providers. Service providers need to be encouraged to submit invoices in a timely manner to allow the department to monitor their expenditure more efficiently. The transfer of funds to maths, science and technology schools for procurement of resources is also a move in the right direction in efforts to equip our schools for a meaningful intervention that improves the performance of our learners in these key subjects. Honourable Speaker, in Program 4, the underspending in the learners with profound intellectual disabilities grant is a bit concerning, considering that the special school education in this province is under-resourced. These funds need to be well spent with value for money services to ensure we address challenges affecting our special needs learners. It is welcoming development that requisitions were submitted for the procurement of stationery, medical first aid kits, as well as test materials within the first quarter, and will further equip our special schools educations in Limpopo. The Early Childhood Development Program underspent by 8.5%, once again due to underspending on compensation of employees. The department needs to correct this situation and ensure expenditures for appointment of officials is being debated from the ECT grant and not administration, which resulted in this large underspend. ECT grant funding also needs to be transferred to ECD centres in prompt manner to ensure their operation without any disruption. The infrastructure development program underspent, and this is also due to vacancies not being filled. The delay in procurement of mobile classrooms and school furniture not starting due to the pending completion of the previous financial year delivery will only exacerbate infrastructure issues within our province. Further challenges is slow turnaround times in surrounding service providers for the maintenance and repairs of buildings, as well as underspends on infrastructure built due to poor performance by contractors, show the failure and inefficiency of the department. Improved project management and monitoring are necessary to ensure timelessly maintenance and repairs, but also that infrastructure projects are of good quality, within budget, and are delivered on time. In essence, the first quarter had recurring issues across programs that required the filling of posts, ensuring the procurement and payment processes are concluded on time. The need to follow up on timely submissions of requisitions and invoices for payments, and the better management of our infrastructure projects. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Smile. Honourable Malitz.
Sorry, Honourable Speaker, but my ears are closed. So it is very short. Good morning, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier in absence, esteemed members of the Executive Council, leaders of the opposition party, and members of the House and guests. Honourable Speaker, going through the report, it is clear that the Department of Education is totally failing the learners by underspending 440 million from early childhood development until grade 12, and including administration and infrastructure development. The department always wants more funds, but when given the funds, they do not spend it accurately and don't spend it at all at some places. Honourable Speaker, the Freedom Front Plus believes that to build a successful community, there must be education for children. The department is failing because there are still classrooms that are falling apart, there are still pit toilets, and every year promises are made to eradicate pit toilets, and after almost 3 decades, the problem is still increasing. There are so many vacant positions that are not being filled, and it's the children that must suffer under this maladministration, and it's not fair on our children. Honourable Speaker, the department blames the contractors of poor performance, which is not acceptable. It is if the contractors aren't doing their job on time, they should lose the contract, pay penalty fee, and other contractors must be coming and start working. We cannot accept that in every report it's the contractor's fault. We will never get anywhere if the department doesn't hold the contractors accountable. The department must improve their planning so that the same issues are not repeated in every quarter. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Malitz. Honourable Committee Chair, Honourable Martin.
You can't call me violent. Huh? You can't. You can't do that. You can't. You can't. Honourable Speaker, Mayor of Vermulaco, Honourable Premier, Honourable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, members of the Executive Council, Honourable members of the Provincial Legislature, all protocol observed, good afternoon. Madam Speaker, life is based on development, and that developing and growing is life. If we would describe this view into the perspective of education, we can sum up that education is the all-round development of the individual's personality. The core function of the Department of Education is teaching and learning. In 2022, this function was carried out in spite of all challenges that our system has faced as we all still on recovery period from COVID-19 pandemic. Progress made on the commitments made in the 2021-2022 financial year. Madam Speaker, it has been reported that the department spent 9.2 billion, which is 25.3% of the total main appropriation bill of 36.4 billion as at 30 June 2022. This has resulted in an under expenditure of 440 million, which is 1.2% when compared with the original projection of 9.6 billion or
26.5%. The committee raised a red flag as a result of under-expenditure, while the mandate of the department needs to be executed to issues of access to education by building schools, providing learner and teaching support materials, providing learner transport where possible, also providing nutritious meals for learners. All these are factors which are indirectly linked to the provision of access to education. As the committee, we encourage the department to listen and engage partners in their work through intentional collaboration. This collaboration includes learners, parents, families, educators, and leaders across sectors, because the Department of Education won't be able to accomplish any of this if they try it alone. Let our goals and action today be driven by what we are hearing from the report and what we see during oversight visits. Honorable MEC, it's time to level up in education. Let us also remove silos between systems designed to work together to serve the same families across the country. That means strengthening our partnerships with our colleagues at the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Health and Safety and Security to support children, their families, and the entire communities. Madam Speaker, the Portfolio Committee will continue to pedal down its work so that all schools truly can be hubs of their communities, where learners and families are connected to the resources and services they need. There is a need to be on the same team because we serve the same families. If a child is hungry, lacks stable housing, or lives in unhealthy conditions, their bandwidth for learning will be diminished. Let it be all hands on deck in the Honorable Makhabati's administration. On administration, Honorable MEC, the department spent 23.6% of its allocated budget on this program. The department reported that all the 3,684 targeted public ordinary schools were able to use SSMs to electronically provide data. The understanding of 1.1% was mainly as a result of 9 filling of schools within the classification of composition of employees. As the Department of Education in Limpopo, we are inspired by the life, achievements and teachings of President Oliver Reginald Kaizana Tambo on the essence of his life, achievements, teaching and unity, and understanding that no person is an island and no person can achieve alone, that we must all the times remain part of a collective and articulate the wishes and concerns of a collective. It is for this teaching that the department seeks to nurture, inculcate values that bind the education family and create an ethos of respect, discipline, and work hard at all levels. Independent schools. On this program, the department realized underspending of 0.2% as a result of underperforming of a non-compliant school which was not paid. One school, Kakule Independent School, underperformed on the 2021 grade 12 results, which led to the subsidy withdrawal under secondary phase for 2022 school academic year. Support visit was provided to the school regarding the underperformance, and the principal assured that extra lessons were initiated and implemented to put more efforts on what was lacking in that previous year. The department was requested to brief the committee on the monitoring of qualification of teachers in independent schools, availability of teaching and teacher learning materials, and the usage thereof. The committee was informed that the department assesses the qualifications of educators employed in the independent schools on 2 occasions. Firstly, during the time they apply for registration, and secondly, by Umanusi, when independent schools apply for accreditation as they offer CAPS curriculum so that their children or their learners can be certificated. Early childhood development. The department spends 16.1% of the program's allocation in the quarter under review. Performance reporting is planned for reporting in Q4. The committee asked the department to give an update on progress made to date since the relocation of ECD from the Department of Social Development to the Department of Education. For noting, honorable members, Science shows that life is a story for which the beginning sets the tone. That makes the early years of childhood a time for great opportunity, but also a great risk. Children's brains are built moment by moment as they interact with their environments. In the first few years of life, more than 1 billion neural connections are formed each second, a pace never repeated again. The quality of a child's early experience makes a critical difference as their brains develop, providing either strong or weak foundations for learning, health, and behavior throughout life. Infrastructure development. The department has spent 4.4% of the budget allocated to the program in Q1. All performance indicators under this program are due for reporting in the last quarter of the financial year. Procurement for mobile classrooms, school furniture had not started, pending the completion of deliveries from the previous financial year. There was a challenge of turnaround time in sourcing service providers for the maintenance and repairs of buildings and non-availability of some members of the evaluation committee. Underspending on the infrastructure projects was due to poor performance by the contractors, as said by other members. But as the committee, we applaud the termination of their contracts by the department. Any place can be good to read and learn for those who love to read and study. The importance of a school infrastructure plays a vital role in building a learning and positive environment for them. Knowledge is immaterial, space does not matter, and physical context is secondary. However, if we look at this in the reality of educational system, the conditions of school directly impact the performance of the learner. The committee recommends that the department accomplishes the following before the end of the third quarter of the 2022-2023 financial year. The infrastructure program should be enhanced to address infrastructure challenges and current delivery support in schools. The department must ensure that project plans and commitments made both in SOPA by the Premier and in the budget speech by the department's MC are reported on a quarterly basis, e.g. relocation of UCD to education, provision of ICT facilities for learners in secondary and primary schools, construction of classrooms and new schools, eradication of pit toilets. In conclusion, Honorable MEC, or Honorable Speaker, thus in the end we find that education is a significant factor for achieving success, building characters, and for living wholesome and a happy life. Therefore, the committee, after scrutinizing the 2022-2023 first quarter performance report of the Department of Education, move that this report be adopted as the report of this August House. I so move, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Committee Chair, Honorable Manta. We shall now call upon the Honorable MEC for Education, Honorable MEC Lorula Ramakanya, to respond to the observation made by the Honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Speaker Dimasiar. Let me take this time and thank you for the time that you have allocated also to me, but also take this time to greet the honorable members of the House, the colleagues who are also in the executive, but most importantly, let me greet the chairperson of the Committee of Education and all the other members of the committee, also the chair of chairs, the deputy chair of chairs in the House, and also honorable members that are with us this morning. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by thanking the committee and all the members being led by the chairperson, Honorable Violet Mate, in pursuing the debate in terms of us as the department, because you'll remember that the work that they do as they go out and come back and go and verify the reports, but also what is important is for them to read the documents as we do the presentation. And we can attest to the debate this morning that indeed they've thoroughly scrutinized our document. I want to take this time to thank the committee because when they do that, they are actually giving us as a department support. Honorable Speaker, I want to also confirm that this morning, when we talk about the posts that on the report of the first quarter for 2022-2023, which were just there and have not been advertised, we all know that the posts have been advertised, and especially the post for the special schools. We have advertised posts for the special schools, and as we speak, we have not only advertised, we have advertised for the professionals, the non-professionals that give support to the learners, and also to the special schools where they should be able to have a boarding. We have also advertised for those. And I think you'll know that as a department, we have since the presentation of the report, advertised the post for nurses, psychiatrists, and social workers. And I think we can confirm that that is in order, as the honorable members were raising. Honorable Speaker, when we come to the special schools, we'll remember that we are noting what the members are raising about Udloba, but I can confirm that the first phase of construction under the infrastructure in Riboni should be done by October this year. You'll remember that we had a delay, and in that area, even yesterday, it was raining heavily. So we have got a delay, but the first phase, which the second phase is going to be inclusive of the first 8 space, which then the social workers and the psychiatrists should be able to stay there. But otherwise, in October, we'll be inviting honorable members to say, let's go to Riboni and hand over their facilities. I also want to say, in terms of infrastructure, we want to note, we are not blaming the implementing agent. What we have done is that we have sat with the implementing agent, myself and the HOD, and reviewed the SLA that we have with them. Because we are saying those that have not been able to perform will not be able to renew the mandate when the time comes, because otherwise we are not balancing the budget. That is the first thing. On the infrastructure, on the second issue is that we have since advertised and concluded on the first phase of a panel. The panel that we have got as a department will be dealing with the maintenance of the schools. I just want to say, honorable members are aware that there are those schools that we need to be constructing and those that we are dealing with maintenance. So we have since finalized the first phase of the panel. There will be another advert of the panel so that then we can have a bigger team to deal with the maintenance and be able to spend on our budget. But on sanitation, honorable Speaker, through you, let me report to the House that we are going to, by the end of March, 127 sanitation projects will be handed over to the schools that is being done by our implementing agency, DBSA. That one we can confirm. We have got good news. Yesterday, myself and the Department of Water and Sanitation, through the Office of the Deputy Minister, Honorable Mahlobo, we have opened the first solution in a school where, through the Department of Water and Sanitation, dealing with sanitation, the solution changes the pit latrines into water bowl. And where there is water, we actually, if there's no water, we drill a borehole. After that, the solution is going to have a reticulation that cleans the water that comes from there, and it can be reused back into the space of the sanitation. We are not talking about something that is not existing. It's existing. Yesterday we just launching. When the way the Department of Water and Sanitation, they are moving the pipes for water for communities, we have then since agreed that they will also be doing inside the school as they move, so you can relax. We are on course in terms of infrastructure. This morning, Honorable Speaker, we then woke up with the Department of DBE. We were launching you'll know that coding and robotics, since it has started, it is now a fully fledged subject that is being done. We are no longer piloting. The schools are implementing the coding and robotics. That is in your ICT space. So when we talk about ICT, we are no longer just going to talk about a tablet that we give a child. Where I was yesterday in the Skukune area, all the schools that are in line with what we are doing, they have already received interactive boards. When we are giving them interactive boards on the coding and robotics this morning, in the classes where they have got tablets, it means that the interactive board is already talking back to the learner. The other schools have got interactive boards, but they do not have tablets. It means the learners now, as we speak in our ICT space, is able to go and touch the board and do whatever activity on the board in the class. And we are talking about rural schools in our province. So even on the ICT, if we can be able to get it right on our level of the ECT. This morning, when we were dealing with the coding and robotics, we also brought in the space of the ECD to say, like we said about our happy feet, if we train the mind when it's still small, that means that we'll be able to deliver a learner that can change our narrative as South Africa. Honorable Speaker, we want to also confirm to this House that in our executive meetings where the Premier chairs in the EXCO, we are tracking all the SOPA pronouncements. So we are able to then check what is it that we have not implemented as a department. And I want to take this time, Honorable Speaker, without prolonging, we are going to, as we speak now, in the infrastructure sector, the schools that were started last year, we have got 9 schools that are ready to be opened. It means the MEC will be running around the province, opening 1 school. We are starting it tomorrow on Friday. So we have got 9 schools that will be opening around our province. So, Honorable Speaker, let me take this time again, thank the committee and my colleagues on the support that they give us. But you'll remember that there are other issues and questions that the honorable members have actually asked. We have then replied and signed them off. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable MEC, for the responses. Item 8, Honorable Chair of Chairs, announcement.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs. The House is adjourned. Honorable members, Honorable Shoko. No, I'm talking. You are making noise. That is noise, Honorable member.
Am I the only one talking here? Because everybody's talking. And why do you have to start making noises from your child? It can't be. You can't just say like that. You can't be.
Honorable Sushoka, I said you were making noise.
But you can't say I'm making noise as if you're talking to your own child. I'm not. I'm not. You can't do that. You can't do that. I'm not going to allow.
What do you want to do, Honorable Sushoka?
No, I'm telling you that you cannot do that. You cannot talk to me.
What do you want to do?
What is it I want to do? I'm bringing that information to you so that you know.
Can you proceed, Honorable members? This House is adjourned, and I've said that. This House is adjourned to Thursday, 23 March 2023 at 10 hours, and this Home Legislative Chamber. Thank you.
The Honorable the Speaker.
Why not to never